Good afternoon, children, and welcome back. And we are continuing with the lesson 17, that is breathing and exchange of gases. Next topic we are going to do is the transport of gases. And which are the gases the blood transports? The oxygen and carbon dioxide. That is the oxygen from the alveoli to the blood cell, and from the blood cell CO2, carbon dioxide, to the alveoli. In same way, from the blood to the tissues, to the different organs and cells and other things, oxygen is transported to these areas, and meanwhile carbon dioxide enters the RBC or the blood. Okay. Now, how are these oxygen and carbon dioxide transported in the blood? The main element which transports both of these gases is hemoglobin. And each hemoglobin has 4 subunits and can carry 4 oxygen molecules. It can combine with 4 oxygen molecules. Okay. Now, what are the ways by which oxygen is transported? We will see now. First method is in the dissolved in blood plasma. 3% of oxygen from the alveoli is dissolved into the plasma. Just simply dissolving in plasma. Plasma, the liquid part of the blood or matrix of the blood. How much percentage? 3%. Okay. And the remaining percentage, that is 97% of oxygen, is transported by hemoglobin. Oxygen combines with hemoglobin to form oxyhemoglobin. What is that? Oxyhemoglobin. So the oxygen is transported mainly by these two methods, which are one is through plasma, just dissolved in plasma, 3%, and remaining 97% is transported as oxyhemoglobin. Oxygen combining with hemoglobin. Okay, right. This is the 4 subunit of hemoglobin. See here, alpha 1, beta 1, alpha 2, beta 2. These are the 4 subunits of hemoglobin. Okay. I told you how the oxygen is combining with or enters the blood from the alveoli. At the alveolar level, there is high oxygen partial pressure, and partial pressure of CO2 is low in the alveoli because the inhaled air contains more of oxygen than carbon dioxide, whereas the blood contains more of CO2 and less of oxygen, right? And at the tissue level, there is more of CO2 in the cells than in the blood, and there is more of, that is, the partial pressure of oxygen is more in the blood than the cells and tissues, right? So that is why they combine. Because of these reasons, they combine with the blood and it is transported. Okay. So all these things I explained in the last class itself, right? Just go through this, you will understand it easily, right? And every 100 ml of oxygenated blood can carry or deliver around 5 ml of oxygen to the tissues under normal physiological conditions. So every 100 ml of oxygen carries 5 ml of oxygen. That you should know, right? And the combination of oxygen with the blood is depending upon the partial pressure, right? So when this partial pressure and the saturation level of oxygen is plotted against each other, we get a sigmoid curve. right? And this curve is also called as hemoglobin dissociation curve. From this we can understand, see at 0 partial pressure 20, 40, 60 like that is given, and oxygen saturation level is given on the y-axis, right? So we get a sigmoid curve, and at 0 oxygen partial pressure there is 0%, 0 saturation level of blood. Okay, at 40 how much is the saturation level of the blood? It is this much, 80%. 80% at 40 partial pressure of oxygen, 80% of oxygen, blood gets saturated with oxygen. So this curve is also called as hemoglobin or oxygen dissociation curve also we can call it. Hemoglobin dissociation curve or oxygen dissociation curve also we can call, because it shows at which point the oxygen dissociates from the blood, or at what point the oxygen combines with blood or hemoglobin of the blood. Okay. Now we'll come to the transport of carbon dioxide. Now carbon dioxide also is transported by the blood, you know that, hemoglobin again, right? Now the blood as such. Now in what all ways the carbon dioxide gas is transported in the blood or through blood? First way is as carbonic acid. That is, it simply dissolves in the blood or plasma of the blood to form carbonic acid. The second method is the hemoglobin of the blood combines with carbon dioxide to form carbaminohemoglobin. What is that? Hemoglobin of the blood reacts with carbon dioxide to form carbaminohemoglobin. Okay. And the third method is as bicarbonate. The major way of transport of CO2 is as bicarbonates. Okay, right, we'll see each of these cases. So in tissues, 7%, nearly 7% is transported as carbonic acid, dissolving in plasma, just simply dissolving in plasma to form carbonic acid. Only 7%. Okay, and nearly 20 to 25% of CO2 binds to hemoglobin. 20 to 25% binds to hemoglobin to form carbaminohemoglobin, right? See, this is the reaction between carbon dioxide and plasma, water. Mainly plasma is made up of water, right? So carbon dioxide plus water gives H2CO3, which is carbonic acid. Okay, and we'll see the third method of how it is transported. This is CO2 plus HB, hemoglobin, in combination with amino group. Amino group in carbon dioxide reacts with hemoglobin to form carbaminohemoglobin. Okay, and the third method of carbon dioxide transport is by bicarbonate method, right? So nearly 70%, 20 to 25 is already transported as carbaminohemoglobin. 3% or 7% is dissolved in plasma. Okay, and the remaining 70% of carbon dioxide, what is happening is the carbon dioxide enters the RBC cells, and it combines with water of the RBC to form H2CO3. You know that H2CO3 is formed. Okay, it is a reversible reaction, and it is sponsored by this enzyme called as, you learnt in the biomolecules lesson, yes, the enzyme is carbonic anhydrase. Okay, so carbon dioxide plus water of the blood cells gives carbon H2CO3 carbonic acid, which is sponsored by the enzyme carbonic anhydrase. Okay, and this H2CO3 again splits into HCO3 plus HCO3 minus plus H plus ion. Okay, right, HCO3 minus plus H plus ions, right, and this HCO3 combines with sodium ions to form sodium bicarbonate. Okay, now this is how it contains carbon dioxide in it, right? So this is the way in which it is transported as carbonate, sodium bicarbonate. Okay, right. So these are the three ways by which carbon dioxide is transported in the or by the blood. Okay children, thank you all of you.